This is DanHurd. I'm at Ocean Picture Stone. This is Rick from the channel. And now what? I'm just picking up a couple of pieces here. I'm going to make some cabs. So have a look later. I'll show you what they look like. Dan, I've been watching you on YouTube for so long. It's such a pleasure to finally meet the man in person. So
this has been awesome. Let's get some close-up shots of the stone. We're gonna get some cabs made out of that. I want to see them when they're done.
You know what? You will see them, and I'll send them to you direct, and then you can go and have a look.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for being the cameraman today.
No problem.
A lot of people have asked me to talk about my Vevor cabbing machine, so here goes. We'll try and explain it by showing you how it works. This beautiful stone is a piece of BC Ocean Picture Stone. It's in Dan's right hand from the beginning of the video. I cut it up on the trim saw that comes with my Vevor cabbing machine. This entire cabbing process from start to finish took me approximately 1 hour, just to give you a bit of an idea on what it takes to make one of these things. Now I'm working on the 80 grit here, and you'll notice I'm looking at my stone quite often. That's so I make sure that I don't overgrind it at any particular stage. If you're enjoying this, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. It helps me make further videos in the future. So just to give you a time frame, that portion took about 5 minutes to ground it down to this stage. So we're still on the 80 grit wheel in this first stage of doming or forming a cabochon from this BC Ocean Picture Stone. I'm turning it at about a 45-degree angle, then I'll turn it at about 30, then about 15 degrees, and eventually you'll see that at the end of this we've actually formed a cabochon or a dome on the top of it. By the way, this stone is available from DanHurd Ocean Picture Stone. It's DanHurd, DanHurd Prospecting. So as you can see, we've formed a nice dome with our Ocean Picture Stone. That part of the process, although we sped it up, it actually took about 10 minutes, just so that you know. And we now repeat the process on the 220 grinding wheel. Now the 80 and the 220 are both diamond grit wheels, so they cut rather quickly, so you got to be careful when you're working with them that you don't overdo it. We're now moving on to a 280 grit wheel. This is a soft back wheel, as are the next three in the procedure. The next one is a 600 wheel, then a 1200, and then a 3000 wheel. These wheels are merely used to take out the scratches from the first two and do some final forming, but basically most of your forming is done on the 80 and 220 wheels. So after working this through the first three, the third one being the 280 wheel, we're starting to get a little bit of a shine. We've got all of our forming done. I recommend patience from this point forward, and make sure you've got all the scratches out before you continue to the next stage. And next we shift to the 600 grit grinding wheel. And again, as I said, these last three wheels that you're looking at here and the third one that we worked on, they're all soft back, so you can push a little harder. Now, just a general rule of thumb while you're working, if you'll notice, I keep my hand very close to the stone. Otherwise, you end up putting a little bit too much pressure, and if you do that, sometimes the dopping wax will break away from the stone, and then you have to re-dop it so that you can finish with your cabochon forming. So make sure there's lots of water going on there as well. Turn your water up. It's better to use a little more water than not enough. That way your stone doesn't heat up. And we're now on to the 1200 grit grinding wheel. People were asking me, by the way, for some comments on my Vevor cabbing machine. At this point, I'm extremely satisfied with it, and I strongly recommend it. It's also half the price of some of the bigger brand name models. And this is what your cabochon looks like after the 1200 grit wheel. And now we get to go on to the exciting part, the finishing, the final steps. We're now going to move on to the 3000 grit wheel. And by the way, thank you for joining us today on the channel. And now what? This is Rick. Please stay tuned. Looking forward, I'm going to be doing my next video is going to be cabbing a piece of Larimar that I got directly from the Dominican Republic. So thanks for being with us today. I hope you enjoyed this cabochon demonstration about BC Ocean Picture Stone. And here's what the final product looks like. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for watching today, and coming up at the end here is a couple of bonus pictures of just a couple other BC Ocean picture stones that I made cabochons out of. Thank you for your time today. Hope you enjoy your day.